Hi everyone, welcome back to Frenchie's Bakery. Today we are going to be making Gordon Ramsay's famous donuts filled with a gorgeous looking chocolate filling. I'm so excited to taste these, you guys, but I'm also a little nervous. I'm kind of terrified this isn't gonna work. I feel like it's one of those recipes on Pinterest. I didn't find it on Pinterest, but I feel like it's an example of that where it's just not gonna work, you know, where it's gonna be just a total fail. I don't know why, the measurements just aren't adding up. And if it does turn out perfect, I apologize in advance, Gordon Ramsay, but I'm just a little nervous. I feel like he kind of didn't really write this recipe. I don't know, we'll have to see. So this is an experimental video. We're gonna see if it works. We're gonna see if they taste really good. Bobby showed me these a few months ago and I've been thinking about making them for a very, very long time. And I finally have the time today because I'm pretty sure they're gonna be a little bit time consuming, especially because the dough has to rise. So I'm excited to make them. I'm excited to taste them. I hope they turn out really, really good because they look really, really good. So I'm gonna put up my hair and then we are gonna work on the first few steps of making the dough so it can rest and rise and just have a good, nice, warm time. Wow, this is a new angle for me. I'm never over here. Okay, so we are going to work on the dough. So I have 5 ounces of whole milk here and I'm gonna add it into my saucepan. And then I'm also going to add in 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. And we are just going to warm this up and let the sugar fully dissolve. So I'm just gonna stand here and mix it. You never really wanna leave milk alone because it has a tendency to, you know, be a little bit dramatic and overreact. So I'm just gonna stand here, keep stirring this, let it get nice and warm. We do not want it to boil, we just want the sugar to dissolve. And then we're gonna add it in with some of our yeast. All right, so Gordon Ramsay uses fresh yeast, which I am not gonna go above and beyond to get that. I wasn't gonna wait to order it on Amazon and everything. It's just a whole process. I already have dry active yeast, and you can find this at the grocery store. They have a bunch because people really like to make pizzas. And I know at the beginning of this whole entire ordeal, this was sold out everywhere because everyone was making homemade bread and stuff. So I have 0.2 ounces of my dry yeast, and I'm gonna add this into a bowl here. And then I'm going to add in half of my milk, and we're just gonna do this to activate the yeast. And I'm just going to whisk it around. And we're just gonna let this sit off to the side. Then I'm gonna add in 1/3 cup of butter to the milk mixture, and we are going to let this fully melt. And while this is melting, we're gonna work on our dry ingredients. All right, so while our yeast is activating and our milk is getting a little bit warm again, we are going to work on our dry ingredients here. So I have 1 1/4 cup of flour. And we're gonna put this through a sifter, which I don't really like doing, but Gordon Ramsay does it, so we have to. And then he takes a pinch of sea salt. Now I'm gonna add in 2 egg yolks right in the middle of the flour, make a little pocket here. Now we are going to add in our milk and butter mixture, and we're just going to mix our ingredients around. And we're also going to add in our yeast. I have a bowl here and I'm just going to spray it with some cooking spray ahead of time so we can just plop the dough right in there. So whenever it rises, it doesn't stick to the side of the bowl. So I'm going to flour my work surface. We're gonna plop the dough out and we are going to knead the dough. Okay, so this is incredibly sticky. I knew that the measurements weren't right. I just knew that he's not gonna give out his secret recipe, right? So I'm just going to keep adding flour until it doesn't, you know, stick to my hands atrociously. So I kind of suspected this would happen. Also, you never really add hot things in with egg because it's gonna make scrambled eggs. And I saw that kind of happen. I followed his directions though, so, you know, we're gonna see how these turn out. But this is so very sticky. So the flour measurement was 100% wrong. I'm a little worried about this though because I am going to overwork the dough and then it's going to be really hard to roll out, and it's also going to be a really tough donut to bite into. It's not going to be light and fluffy like you want a donut to be. So I'm a little worried as to how these are gonna turn out. So I do have a very good dough consistency here, and I'm just going to start folding the dough over. This is an absolute mess. I can't believe I have to critique Gordon Ramsay here. I wish he was here so I could scold him. Okay, so we have a nice little dough here. I hope it's not too overworked. I kind of think that it probably is. I'm going to plop it in my bowl that I sprayed. You guys, look at my hands. This is just atrocious. And then we are going to cover it with some saran wrap so it doesn't get dry and crusty and everything. And I'm just going to leave this in a warm area so it rises nicely. So I have my oven on, and I actually turned it off about 5 minutes ago, so I'm gonna place it in my nice little warm oven, and we'll leave it in there for about an hour. And now we're gonna work on the chocolate filling. So I have 8.4 ounces of heavy cream here, and we're gonna add this into the saucepan. 2 tablespoons of honey, and that's just gonna be for flavor. And we are going to warm this up until it becomes a nice light boil. And then in the meantime, I have 8.8 ounces of chocolate here. He uses dark chocolate. I don't have dark chocolate, I only have semi-sweet chocolate, so we're gonna do that. You can't mess up on ganache though, it's always gonna taste really good. And we're also gonna add in 2.1 ounces of unsalted butter. And we're just gonna set that aside, wait for this to boil. We'll add it in and then we'll mix it up. All right, so it's doing a little light boil. We're gonna add this into the chocolate and the butter. Yummy. Back here real quick. And then we're just gonna whisk this together. So the ganache is finished being mixed up. I'm gonna pop this in the fridge and we're gonna keep it in there until we're ready to fill the donuts. So my dough has about 20-ish minutes left to rise. So I will be back with you guys in a few minutes. Well, a few seconds for you guys. And we will start rolling out the dough. All right, you guys. So our dough doubled in size. I had it in the oven where it was just nice and warm, not hot, for about an hour. So I have my surface nice and floured here. Gonna take out the dough nice and gently. I'm gonna flour the dough again. We're gonna roll it out very nice and lightly. Just roll that rolling pin super lightly over the dough. We're gonna take our big knife here and we're going to cut out little squares. Right, now that we have our little donuts, we are going to pop these in a warm space for about 40 minutes, let them rise again, and then we will finish these donuts up. All right, you guys, so now we are going to start frying our donuts. So I have a big pan here filled with vegetable oil, and it's 1/3 of the way full. I'm keeping the temperature at about 340. That's what I want to keep it at. It's a little difficult to, you know, kind of keep it there, so you just gotta keep playing with the temperature. I have my donuts here. They grew a little bit while they were sitting in the oven. They're so cute and they smell so good and they feel like pillows. So I'm going to plop it in, and take notice to how I fling my hands away because you do not want to get burned. So you plop it in and you fling away real fast. So I like to put 2 in at a time just so I'm not overwhelmed. So we'll plop another one in, fling away. If you can't tell, I've been burnt before, so I'm really careful. Over here I have a cookie sheet with a cooling tray on top, so the donuts can sit on top and then drip the oil onto a paper towel. And then here I have my sugar mixture. So this is sugar and cinnamon. Gordon Ramsay uses malt, but I do not have that, and a substitute for it is sugar. And I figured cinnamon and sugar would be really, really good, and it's not like the biggest, hugest difference in the whole entire world. So I'm going to cook each of these for about 30 seconds, flip them over, cook them for another 30 seconds, let them drip for a little bit, coat them in some sugar, and then let them cool off completely, and then we will fill them with our yummy, yummy filling. So here is our ganache. I just got it out of the fridge. We're just gonna whisk this up until it becomes nice and creamy again. And then I have a big piping bag here fitted with a circle tip on the end, and we're just going to fill up our piping bag. And so I have my piping bag here. I'm gonna take a donut, turn it upside down, shove the tip of the piping bag into the donut, and squeeze the icing until it comes out a little bit, so you know that the whole donut is filled. And I am just going to fill the rest of these donuts with this yummy goodness, and then we will be done with these donuts. All right, you guys, just like that, our Gordon Ramsay donuts are finished. They smell phenomenal. I think it has to do with the cinnamon. My favorite treat in the whole entire world is Auntie Anne's pretzels, and I love the cinnamon sugar pretzels. It's so good. So it smells like Auntie Anne's in here, which I wasn't expecting. I guess I should have expected it because it's cinnamon and sugar, but I am so excited about these donuts. They look great. They turned out great, which I can't believe it because I really didn't think that this was gonna go over well. There were a few things that I did have to tweak and I did have to fix, and I did actually go back and make more dough to make more donuts because it barely makes like anything, and that just wasn't gonna cut it. So I did have to go back and make more, so I do have more donuts. So I'm really excited to share these with my family tonight. I'm gonna do a quick taste test for you guys and cut into it. So let me cut into the donut, zoom in the camera, show you up and close and personal, and then I will do a final taste test. All right, let's do a taste test. There's chocolate everywhere. It looks so good. Okay, I'm nervous. That crunch. I thought this was gonna be a bust and like a scam, like a knockoff recipe. It's really good. This is really, really good. Light, fluffy, not too much. It's not too overpowering, not too sweet. Really, really a good donut. I'm gonna keep eating this, and I don't wanna eat the whole thing in front of you guys. So I'll wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I will see you on the next one. This was a success. I highly recommend, and it was a lot of fun to do actually. So yeah, go ahead and try these out. See you in the next video, guys. Bye.